And we're live.
So good to see you today.
Hey, Desraie, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Oh, pleasure's all ours. Well, we got to get acquainted a little bit in the green room here before this meeting, but I want to welcome everybody else to our, eavesdrop on our little conversation here, and say hello, bonjour, wherever anybody is, and welcome to one of our episodes of Techs on Video Calls Having Coffee. Did you bring your coffee?
Yes, I've got my local, cheers. My local Phil and Sebastian. This is my being grounded. Now, this is the coffee that makes my being home and working from here instead of seeing you in person. Okay, Phil and Sebastian, the standard. It's the way to go.
I haven't tried those guys. They're good roasters, are they?
Yeah, I've tried a lot of and this is like French press at home. It's not like the best of the best, but for French press at home, it's definitely, out of everything I've tried, my favorite. We buy that rather than trying anything else because it's like perfect.
Let's get a little introduction first, so we all know, everybody knows who we're talking to. So I'm Andreas from Innovation Networks, of course, hosting you today. Thank you for joining us. And Desraie, tell us a little bit about you.
So my name is Desraie Thomas. I'm one of the channel development managers at a company called DATTO. There's a good chance if you're watching this, you probably never heard of the company called DATTO, and that's just because we work with industries like you guys to help you have the products and tools you need to support and help secure your clients. Normally, I do presentations in person and live, take people out for dinner and drinks, and now I'm coming to you from Alberta.
So obviously, like you disclosed earlier, you're not, we brought you on because you're not really client facing. You kind of work through partners like us, so you don't really get an opportunity to talk to the end user, if you would. So we wanted to give that opportunity today to have you come out and tell us, what's your little golden nugget? What do you think that business owners should be, in this current time especially, be thinking about, and that you could share a little bit of insight on?
Yeah, for sure. I've so many. I feel like even narrowing that down can be a little overwhelming. I think, though, really, especially in today's world, we're all in this like weird, crazy place, right? And then when we did this whole move to the work from anywhere world, first, it was done so quickly and so fast that everyone was just worried about making sure people had computers and could do their jobs at home. And now across Canada, we have I know Calgary is way more locked down than you guys are in BC, and everyone is in such a different place. So now we need to back up and look at what the world looks like. So some things that I want to make sure people are talking about is still security. I know it's we hear about it all the time, but it's still such a big thing we need to talk about. Whether it be security being like a business continuity solution, or plan. What do you do right now if this world goes into where we are, where you have half people in the office and half the people half the people working from home and some people working from Mexico? Please me this winter, Mexico. I think that's a great idea. I think it's important to have that plan in place.
Yeah.
How are you going to secure, and how are you going to move those people around?
Yeah, can you be quarantined somewhere warm? That's the only request on the employee form, right?
Okay.
Somewhere warm.
Please. If it wasn't for my dogs, I think I would just spend the winter in Mexico. But yeah. I don't want to make my dogs fly.
I'm definitely missing the warm weather. So yes, I'm with you. I'm with you. I would probably join you. Yes.
So business continuity. What do you think about the business continuity?
Well, we see it all the time. And unfortunately, we sometimes get called in to fix that. So we have situations where we're trying to bring clients to bring that to the forefront of their planning and say, let's plan on the business continuity. Let's do a mock scenario. Let's pretend there's a fire, flood, theft. Let's pretend there's an earthquake. Let's pretend there's a natural disaster. Let's pretend that there's a cyber security attack that takes down the entire internet. How do you continue to operate? How do you communicate? Who do you call? Who calls who? Who in your company is responsible? Does everybody know what's going on? How do we move the phones around? How do we communicate with the customers if email's down? And all your data's online, what do you do, right? Especially your customer CRMs and stuff like that. So yeah, it's do a couple of dry scenarios is what we talk to people about, is what we do for people. But a lot of times we get people that are, it's, you know, they're coming to us in the midst of the disaster. And that's when, you know, it's the toughest for them. It's painful to watch. One of the things that we notice that, you know, most customers are unaware of, most people in business are just unaware of it. Like, they don't want to deal with technology because it's kind of the thing that hurts their brain, because it's forever changing and big words and acronyms. This from a business point of view, saying, okay, well, you've got this, and you've got this thing that you cannot keep your head in the sand about anymore. Like, you've got to face this head on. And there is no magic pill for security. There is no, you know, just put on this flak jacket and now you're protected, right? It's about layers, right? You know this from living in Calgary. You dress in layers, right? Don't let the cold get through in any one spot, right? So the same thing goes with security. It's about the layers on your email, on your this, on your that. So, you know, the disaster recovery plan, you know, and obviously I know you provide this stuff, but mostly as a whole, companies are not looking at doing that plan and drawing that out. And I think that's where the biggest flaw is they're not sitting there and doing a dry run scenario to say, where would we be exposed? What would that look like? What are our legal liabilities? Like, do the work before it happens, in case it happens. And then, you know what, you're just not as paranoid because you've done a couple of practice runs, right? And if it does happen, you've got things in place, right?
Yeah, it's just like being educated on, at least you're making an educated decision on what your company can handle, what your company can do if this happens, where you're at. And you're right, sometimes it could be worth the risk. Like this probably, maybe this one point is never going to happen. Say we talk about passwords being like, the fact that nowadays even the top 20 passwords around the world is still 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and people are still using like I've got 2 dogs, Batman and Robin, using password like Batman and Robin, and then wondering why people can hack it and steal all my information.
Right.
So even the fact that we're having those conversations, that's still a great place to start with your employees, being like, just talk about passwords. That's one step on this huge list when you're talking about security that can really help, just like doing little bits at a time, putting on the layers will be the next step.
Absolutely. And, you know, maybe guys, you know, comment below as well if you guys are interested in us doing maybe a deeper dive on this and going through a mock disaster recovery plan as a little bit more of a workshop. That's obviously in your wheelhouse of expertise and ours. So maybe that would be a cool thing for you guys to look in on, a little fly on the wall on that one. So again, keep us posted if there's any more type of information on disaster recovery that you guys would like us to explore, a little more deep dive on any of those. We're going to have many more of these. And I think, you know, this was just kind of a nice introduction today, get you introduced to the channel. Hopefully we're going to have you back talking about different things. And we really appreciate you taking the time today and sharing all of your wonderful views and your coffee with us. And yes. And cheers. And we'll chat to you soon.
Thank you so much for having me in, and I hope we get to do this again.
We will soon. Take care, my dear.